Hello and welcome to Forza 4, a guide to drifting techniques with me, Edmard. In this series, we're going to be covering basic drifting techniques to help the beginner drifter learn to drift. However, there should be techniques in here that should be helpful and informative to even the most advanced drifters. In this video, we're going to be covering tandeming. Okay everyone, we're going to be doing tandeming today, so as you've just heard, and here I'm going to be tandeming with my friend Kaio, who is a brilliant drifter, and I can also get some amazing tandems with him, and I've been tandeming with him for quite a while. And I have a few things in this video that should help you if you're trying to learn how to tandem. There should be a few pointers where if you can master them, they can get you just as good as this, as you can see in this clip here. It's not perfect, but it is pretty good. Not to blow my own trumpet or anything, but you know, it's an example. So basically there's a few techniques that should help, and I'm going to go through them. But firstly I'd like to say that here I'm tandeming with Kaio, who I've been tandeming with for a very long time, and we've got extremely used to each other, and basically if you've got a partner that you can just learn with the whole time, then that can really help. But also there's other techniques to learning, so I'll go through that as the video goes through. But like I said, Kaio does make it a lot easier for me because I know exactly what he's doing, and I've been tandeming with him for a long time, so yeah, that makes it a bit easier. And say like if I wanted to tandem with someone else, then there'd be a few times where I maybe would crash into them or something because I just haven't tandemed with them before. But anyway, we're going to go on to the first thing I wanted to talk about, which is something bad that a lot of people do, and it's a mistake and they shouldn't do it. So as you can see here in the first clip, I lunge in there, I end up hitting Kaio with no angle. It's terrible. And basically I'm doing this on purpose to show what I see a lot of people do, which is where they've got a bit of a gap here, as you can see here. They go in too fast, end up going wide, and then lose the gap, as you can see what's just happened there. Basically I see people doing this all the time, and there's a simple solution to it, which I will go through in a little while, but first I wanted to go into detail as to why people do this. And we're going to go in slow motion, see the same clip again, but in slow motion. Okay, so here we can see that Kaio has a bit of a gap on me, and I see a lot of people thinking that that gap is bad, so they want to just regain that as soon as possible. So they'll lunge into the corner with a lot less angle, and this means that if you want to avoid hitting them, you'll hit the brakes. And usually hitting the brakes like that, quite hard, like I just did, will mean you go wide, and as you can see I'm a lot wider than Kaio here with a lot less angle. And this means that Kaio can then get a better clipping point than me, and as you can see he's pulled away from me a bit. And this is something I see a lot of people do, and I don't understand it, but I used to do it because, you know, when you're behind someone and you're quite a bit back from them like I am here, you try and regain that gap, and a lot of times people will just do this, which is where they go in a bit too fast trying to regain that gap, and they end up hitting the person because the other person's going a lot slower than them, and it just means that the other person spins out, and poor Kaio just got pummeled for a whole run because I didn't go into the corners properly. But in this next clip I'm going to show you how you can correct that. So seeing as it's such a common thing that people do, this is how I learnt to solve it. So as you can see here I made a little mistake. Kaio has a bit of gap on me, and instead of lunging into the next corner too fast, I've slowly reeled him in. And really with this technique, patience is key. You have to be patient and slowly reel the person in. Obviously if they're going tons faster than you and you take a bad line, then they're just going to go a lot quicker than you. But as you can see here I've got the telemetry up, and to start with, it's going really well. We get a really nice transition here, and then as I go into the corner, I think I might, yeah, I think I just counter steer a tad too early and I've locked up, and that means I've lost a bit of gap to him. Now instead of going really, really fast, I've slowly reeled him in by using about half throttle. Look at my throttle on the telemetry. I'm not using full throttle to try and speed into him. I'm slowly reeling him in by gradually bringing in the throttle, and I'm basically using my car on the very limit between where it wants to grip up and where it wants to slide. So a lot of people would say this is just like driving through the corner, but as you could see there, I wasn't like really getting much less angle, and I'm doing it again here, slowly reeling him in with a bit less throttle than I usually use. And it's a really good technique, and if you can master it, then it really pays off, obviously. And this next clip shows the opposite, where I've gone a little bit faster than Kyle and I've used my brakes ever so slightly in order not to hit him. At a fast speed there, you can hardly see what's going on, but it's a very slight amount of brakes on that second corner that mean I don't hit him. So if we look at this in detail, I'm going to slow it right down here. As you can see, I've got a lot of counter steer going on, a lot of throttle, and I lose a bit of angle, which means I gain a bit of speed on Kyo, which means I have to use a tiny little bit of brakes. And because of the way my brakes are tuned, which is about 47% bias, that means that I gain a little bit of angle on my brakes, and that tiny little bit of brakes means that I didn't hit Kyo, and it means that I've managed not to hit him, and I then match his angle, and that's something that I've got after a lot of practice. And mainly that's been practicing in public lobbies, where I've gone into a public lobby and I've tandem with someone that's a lot slower than me, and it means that I've had to use my brakes a lot to not hit them, and doing that a lot has meant that when I see that someone is going a little bit slower and I can instantly recognise when someone's a bit slower than me, I can then use my brakes accordingly so that I don't hit them. And it's not so much when I'm tandeming with Kyo, but a lot of practice has got me to the stage where I can use it freely and very precisely. Okay, so this next bit, I take a little bit too much rumble strip and I lose a bit of gap. This is when I use my new technique in the transition to gain a bit of gap again, like catch up to Kyo in the transitions. And it's a technique that I again learned when I was trying to tandem with people that are slower than me. I was giving them a lot of space on the transitions, and I found that I was really catching up to them after I'd given them space. And what I've worked out is that what I'm doing is I'm leaving him space, and I'm kind of taking a later transition. Or is it earlier? Yeah, I think it's later. But it's basically a bit like when people take a late apex on a corner when they're racing. So as you can see here, I take a bit too much rumble strip there. Partly Kyo's fault, I'm not going to blame him. And he gains a bit of gap on me. And I then come over to the left a lot sooner than him. And as you can see, I'm already transitioned before he is. And I'm then able to carry a lot more speed towards the corner. And as he's slowing down for the corner, I can then catch right up to him. And that gap, which was about a car width, is now reduced to, like, we could open our doors and they would hit each other, sort of thing. And unfortunately I do tap the rumble strip again, which means he does pull away a tad. But again, that technique was learned in public lobbies where I was tandeming with people that weren't necessarily very quick. And I suggest that that's what a lot of people should do. You should go into public lobbies and tandem with people that maybe aren't as good as you. Not saying that everyone's rubbish, but you might be able to find someone that's not as good as you. Come on. And yeah, you should practice trying to tandem behind someone without hitting them. I know it's difficult, but as you can see, after a lot of practice, it's paid off for me. And yeah, so yeah, just bear in mind everything I've said, and I hope that this episode was useful to everyone. I'm going to have a little bit of a black screen for a bit where I talk about what's coming up on the channel and what's going on at the moment. But yeah, this has been me teaching you a bit about tandeming, and I really hope you enjoyed it. So, oh, and also, at the end of this video is a bonus clip where you'll be able to see my car do backfire. It was just coincidental that my car did like an amazing backfire as I initiated behind Kaio on the replay, and it sounded awesome because I think I was hitting the rev limiter at the same time. But yeah, it sounded awesome. But yeah, that's at the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to take a moment here to talk about what's going on at the moment. Basically, I've been really busy at the moment, going out, getting drunk and having fun because it's summer holidays, and yeah, it means I'm not uploading very often at the moment, but there are things in store. I am going to be bringing everything that I said I would, and also YouTube is gay and won't upload something sometimes, so yeah, sorry about that, but here's the bonus clip instead, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.